Okay, so get this, right? You know those Roman amphorae?
Yeah.
Those like big clay jars you see in museums all the time? Well, get this. They've been found in Brazil.
Really?
Yeah. Like South America, Brazil.
That's wild.
Yeah, so that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We've got some sources that claim there's evidence of a Roman shipwreck off the coast of Rio de Janeiro. But then there's others that say it's all a big hoax, so...
I see.
Yeah, we got to figure out what's going on.
It's definitely a controversial topic, that's for sure.
Right.
But before we, go too far down that road,
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand just how important amphorae were in Roman society.
Okay, yeah.
So we think of them as storage vessels, right?
Uh-huh.
But they were actually much more than that.
Okay.
They were a crucial part of their trade network.
Oh, I see.
It was really extensive. And these amphorae, you can almost think of them as ancient shipping containers.
Oh, okay. Ancient shipping containers. So, all right, ancient shipping containers. But what makes them so important for, figuring out this whole Roman-Brazil connection?
Well, think of amphorae as time capsules.
Okay.
Right. Their contents, their shapes, even the inscriptions on them give us this incredibly valuable insight into what the Romans traded, where they traveled, and even their daily life.
Wow.
So, for example, you might find traces of foodstuffs, like olive oil or wine, and that reveals, stuff about their diet and their trade routes.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then inscriptions might tell us where an amphora was made, who it belonged to, what it contained.
It's like a little story?
Yeah, they really paint a vivid picture of Roman commerce.
Wow, so it's like each amphora is like a little piece of a puzzle.
Yeah.
And by putting them together, we get a clearer picture of the Roman world. And maybe, just maybe, we can see if they reached Brazil.
Exactly.
All right, so let's dive into the specifics, right? This Guanabara Bay discovery. So picture this, right? 1982, this underwater explorer, Robert Marks, he's super into finding proof of early voyages. He's diving in Guanabara Bay.
Okay.
And he'd heard whispers and stuff of weird jars down there.
Right.
But nothing prepared him for what he actually found. I mean, scattered across this huge area, it was like the size of 3 tennis courts.
Wow.
Hundreds of these amphorae,
Really?
covered in barnacles, 90 feet underwater. Can you imagine the excitement?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
So Marx was convinced he'd found a Roman shipwreck, claimed it could rewrite Brazilian history, pushing back European contact by, 1,700 years. Yeah. But like a lot of archaeological discoveries, things aren't always that simple.
Right. Yeah, that's where things get a little complicated.
Yeah.
Right, because another guy, this Brazilian businessman named Americo Santarelli, he comes forward and says, hold on, I planted those amphorae.
What?
Yeah. Said he was trying to create like an underwater tourist attraction or something. Even tried to make them look super old.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, Santarelli's claim definitely throws a wrench into that Roman shipwreck theory.
yeah.
However, there are still some unanswered questions, right?
Right.
Did he really plant all of them? Especially the ones found, really deep in the coral. And what about that diver who reported finding amphorae years before Santarelli's supposed planting? It's not that straightforward.
No, it's not as simple as case closed. And then on top of that, there's the whole issue of how the Brazilian government reacted.
Right.
Instead of saying hey, let's investigate this further,
Yeah.
they just shut down all underwater exploration in the area.
Oh, wow. Marx
even accused them of a cover-up, saying they dumped tons of silt on the site to hide everything.
Their reaction does raise some questions, doesn't it? If Santarelli's replica explanation was the whole story, then why such a drastic response?
Exactly.
Yeah, it definitely adds fuel to the fire for those who believe there's more to this discovery.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Well, I'm kind of leaning toward thinking there's more to it, especially when you consider that an expert on Roman amphora, Dr. Elizabeth Will, analyzed some fragments from the bay,
Okay.
and she said they looked a lot like those made in Roman Morocco.
Roman Morocco.
What's the significance of that?
Well, Roman Morocco was a huge hub for amphorae production. They were supplying olive oil and other goods to the entire Roman Empire.
Oh, wow.
So if these amphorae really are from Roman Morocco, it suggests a trade route that extended much farther than we thought.
So maybe, just maybe, the Romans were sailing farther than we thought.
Yeah, that's a possibility we need to consider.
It's wild. You mentioned Roman trade earlier, and there's this really cool example in Rome itself that really shows just how big their network was. have you ever heard of Monte Testaccio?
Monte Testaccio, yeah. That rings a bell.
Yeah, refresh my memory.
Okay, so imagine a hill right in the heart of Rome,
Okay.
made entirely of broken amphorae. That's Monte Testaccio.
Whoa.
It's a testament to the massive scale of Roman trade, millions upon millions of amphorae, mostly filled with olive oil from Spain, were discarded there over centuries, and it created this artificial mountain.
Wow, a mountain of broken jars. Okay, so this Monte Testaccio thing,
Yeah.
it shows how massive Roman trade was. But how does it connect back to our, Brazilian mystery?
Well, we can analyze the amphorae fragments at Monte Testaccio, right?
Uh-huh.
Looking at their clay composition production techniques.
Yeah.
And it can give us some really good clues about where the Guanabara Bay amphorae came from.
Oh, okay.
So if we can match the clay or the style of the Brazilian pieces to those at Monte Testaccio,
Right.
it could really strengthen that case for a Roman connection.
All right, so we've got this potential link to Roman Morocco,
Yeah.
a mountain of evidence in Rome, and a government that's trying to, bury it all.
That's right.
This is getting really interesting.
It is.
Where do we go from here?
I think it's time to broaden our scope and explore the bigger picture of Roman seafaring.
Yeah.
Did they even have the capability and the motivation to venture across the Atlantic?
Right.
Let's delve into that next time.
I'm excited.
Yeah, should be interesting. So we know the Romans were master seafarers.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, their trade routes covered the entire Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
They sailed to Britain.
Yeah.
They even traded with India.
Right. And India's pretty far, even with, ships today.
Oh, yeah.
So wouldn't it be possible that they could have sailed even farther, maybe even across the Atlantic?
Well, it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, their ships were definitely capable of long voyages.
Uh-huh.
And their navigation skills were quite advanced.
Yeah, I mean, they used the stars, right?
Right, the stars, ocean currents, even bird migrations to find their way.
That's incredible.
It really is.
So they had the means, but did they have a reason? Why would they risk such a long and dangerous journey?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, some historians would say that the Romans didn't really have much reason to explore beyond their known world. They already had access to tons of resources
Yeah,
and well-established trade routes within their empire.
I guess so.
Why venture into the unknown, right?
Right, but what about, the allure of discovery?
Mhm.
The desire to explore new lands, find new riches.
Sure.
Humans are curious.
Oh, absolutely. And there is evidence that the Romans knew about lands beyond their immediate reach.
Really?
Yeah. Roman writers mentioned islands in the Atlantic. And there were even these tales of voyages beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So maybe they were a bit more adventurous than we give them credit for?
it's possible.
If they knew about these far-off places,
Mm.
wouldn't they at least be a little tempted to explore them?
I think that's a fair assumption.
Especially if they thought there might be something valuable out there,
Yeah, it's possible.
Like gold or spices or something. And wouldn't it make sense for them to keep those voyages secret?
Well, maybe.
Especially if they found something really valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, they
nah,
wouldn't want their rivals to know, right?
That's true.
Keep their competitive edge.
Right, and the Romans were definitely strategic about their knowledge and resources. Keeping new discoveries secret could give them a real advantage.
Okay, so we've got the ships, they got the skills, maybe even the motive.
Yeah.
But what about actual proof? Are there any other findings besides the Guanabara Bay amphorae that suggest the Romans might have actually reached the Americas?
There have been a few other discoveries that have, added to the speculation,
Oh,
but they're often met with a lot of skepticism.
okay.
For instance, there's that alleged shipwreck in Galveston Bay, Texas.
Right, I've heard about that.
Yeah, where some people say they found Roman artifacts. And then there's another site in Honduras
Okay,
with similar claims.
so we've got potential Roman finds in Brazil, Texas, and Honduras. That's quite a spread. But are these finds legit or just wistful thinking?
Well, that's the hard part with these kinds of discoveries.
Yeah,
Often it's just fragmentary evidence.
right.
So it's really difficult to prove their origin definitively.
I see.
The Galveston Bay and Honduras signs, for example, they haven't been conclusively proven to be Roman.
Okay.
We need further investigation, more analysis.
It's like we have these little clues, these hints,
Yeah,
but we need more pieces to the puzzle to really see the whole picture.
exactly.
It's like a mystery novel where you know something big is going to happen, but you don't know who the culprit is.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a historical mystery with potentially huge implications.
It makes you wonder if there are other clues out there just waiting to be discovered.
I'm sure there are.
Right.
Yeah, maybe someone will find a Roman coin in their backyard.
Yeah.
Or a hidden inscription on some ancient ruin.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It would.
Okay, so we've talked about, the Romans' seafaring skills, their potential motives, and these kind of tantalizing clues.
Right.
But let's take a step back for a second.
Okay.
What are the arguments against this whole Roman Brazil theory?
Well, the biggest one is that there's just not enough conclusive evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, the amphorae and Guanabara are intriguing, but they could be explained by other things, like Santarelli's replica claim.
Right.
And the other finds, like you said, haven't been definitively proven to be Roman.
So basically, it's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but nothing concrete.
That's right.
What else?
Well, another argument is that a voyage like that would have been incredibly difficult
Yeah.
and risky.
Uh-huh.
The Atlantic's a huge and unforgiving ocean, even for modern ships.
Yeah. But the Romans did sail to India, right?
That's true.
And that was way before we had modern navigation.
Yeah, but a voyage to the Americas would have been way more challenging.
Oh, really?
The winds and currents make it really hot to sail westward across the Atlantic. Yeah.
So it would have been a tough journey, but not impossible.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where the debate lies.
Right.
Some people argue that the difficulty of the voyage, along with the lack of solid evidence, makes the Roman Brazil theory unlikely. But others say we shouldn't underestimate the abilities of ancient seafarers.
Right.
And that the possibility, however small, is worth exploring.
It's like that saying, absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, right?
Exactly.
Just because we haven't found definitive proof doesn't mean it's not out there.
That's a great point.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what makes this whole discussion so captivating.
For sure.
It reminds us that history is constantly being rewritten as new discoveries are made.
Yeah. It's like a giant puzzle where we're still trying to find all the pieces, and who knows what surprises those pieces might hold.
That's right.
When we find them.
Maybe someday we'll uncover that one piece of evidence that settles the debate once and for all.
Right.
But until then, the mystery lives on.
I love a good mystery.
Me too.
What about you? What are your final thoughts on this whole Roman-Brazil connection?
Well, I think it's important to approach this topic with a good balance of curiosity and skepticism.
Okay.
The evidence, while super interesting, is still inconclusive.
Right.
However, the mere possibility that the Romans might have reached the Americas really challenges us to rethink our understanding of ancient history and human exploration.
It really does.
It's a reminder that there's always more to learn and discover.
Well, we've really dug deep into this Roman-Brazil idea.
Yeah, we have.
And I gotta say, it's really made me rethink what I thought I knew about the Romans and how far they may have actually traveled.
It really is amazing what a few clay jars can do, right? I mean, how many questions they can raise about history.
Yeah. I mean, we've got these amphorae found in Brazil. We've got those possible Roman artifacts in Texas and Honduras. And we know that Romans were skilled sailors who could travel pretty far.
Yeah, they definitely had the know-how.
But we still don't have that, smoking gun.
Right.
That undeniable proof that they actually made it to the Americas.
Well, that's how it is with historical mysteries sometimes.
Yeah.
We got to piece together these little bits of evidence and try to reconstruct what happened,
Right.
knowing that we might never have all the answers.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we should stop looking, right?
Of course not.
What if there are more clues out there just waiting for us?
I'm sure there are. I mean, new discoveries are happening all the time.
Yeah.
And with technology getting better and better, we can analyze these artifacts in new ways and uncover hidden things.
Right.
Who knows what we'll find in the future.
Yeah, maybe somebody will stumble across a Roman inscription somewhere in the Americas.
Yeah,
Or a shipwreck full of Roman goodies.
that would be something.
So let's say, just for fun, that the Romans did reach the Americas.
Okay.
What would that even mean for how we understand history?
Oh, it'd be huge. A complete paradigm shift.
Really?
I mean, transatlantic contact centuries earlier than we thought.
Wow.
The history of the Americas, everything we thought we knew would have to be rewritten.
That's insane to think about.
It really is. We'd have to reconsider everything we thought about these ancient civilizations.
So even if we never find 100% proof, this whole Roman Brazil mystery has made us question what we thought we knew.
It really has. And, I think that's one of the best things about digging into historical mysteries.
Yeah.
They challenge us to think critically, to question our assumptions,
Right.
to be open to new possibilities.
It's like history isn't just some facts in a textbook, right?
Yeah.
It's an ongoing story that's always being written.
Well said. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover some piece of evidence that changes how we see the past.
That would be awesome. I might not find any Roman ruins in my backyard,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely going to keep my eyes peeled for any new discoveries about this mystery.
I think everyone should.
Right.
It's a topic that'll keep historians and archaeologists busy for a long time.
This deep dive has been amazing. I have to say, I've got more questions now than answers, but in a good way.
I know what you mean.
It's just incredible how much we still don't know about the past.
It is, but that's the beauty of it. The search for knowledge never ends.
If anyone listening is as interested in this Roman Brazil mystery as we are, we've got links in the show notes to some great resources. You can learn more about Roman amphorae, ancient sailing, and all of Robert Marx's discoveries.
So as you go about your day, just think, what if we don't even know a fraction of what ancient civilizations could do?
Right.
What other secrets are out there just waiting to be found?
That's a great question for everyone to ponder. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an open mind.
You never know what you might discover.
Exactly.